What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're back. It's been a long couple weeks. Didn't have videos last week. I was not up to it. A lot of stuff going on these
This is a
last.
wellness check.
It really is. Um, but we're back here. Going to talk about a little bit of movie news. Talk about some movies we're excited about at the end of the year.
Mhm.
So I guess the first kind of thing before we get into anything is thank you, Meal patrons, Kimberly Karen. Go get some merch, all that stuff linked down in the description. Do all that great stuff. Help us get to that 2,000. We're still going to give somebody something. But please do. Please help. We are here though to talk. Just talk about some news. I guess there's been. We'll start with Kyle. This little Rebel Ridge review. I see on our notes here. You watched it.
Mhm.
I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. If I even sit to watch movies the last few weeks, that if it hasn't been the anime,
Yeah.
rewatching My Hero Academia, then I haven't really been. I've been going slow on some of my movies. So, what
Mm.
have you? I've heard it's pretty good. What'd you think?
I'd echo those remarks. I also think it was pretty good. Reminds me of almost a modern day First Blood. Um, doesn't have like the same vibe, I would say, as First Blood does, but I think in terms of like action hero having like some subject matter, some real world subject matter like interlaced throughout the movie. It was about like on par with how I felt when I first saw the Rambo movie. So, but I thought it did pretty well. I thought that the action was very well shot. I thought it was very intense, yet it felt like it had a nice motion to it that didn't leave you feeling confused. It felt like realistic, but also like had you fist pumping at some maybe heightened moments at the same time. But I kind of appreciated the mixture of like it being realistic and gritty, but a little bit heightened at times. And yeah, as with like the subject matter and the themes of the movie, I felt like in terms of racism and as well as the themes of how the justice system and how the police system can be heightened from their own sense of power and ego, and how it can be interlaced into um, you know a realistic story about trying to help out a family member. And I need to look up the actor's name. I had it, but then I completely spaced on it again in my head. But this was an actor that reminded me, or that I saw from Shyamalan's movie Old, which I didn't like at all. But I remember thinking that like, he was pretty good in the movie, but I hadn't seen much from him since. And actor Aaron Pure, he was terrific in this movie, and I don't know. He just was able to like hold it as like a leading man, which I found very impressive. And the supporting cast is also good in this movie too. But I just was very impressed by him because I finally got to see a bit more from him as like an actor. And I don't know, I could see some hype behind him because I think he really had a great handle on this movie, from the drama to like the action sequences, and just kind of felt like it was put all on his back, but it succeeded in that way. So I really like it. Most streaming movies are very hard for me to like get excited for and want to watch, but between this and Hitman, it's been good. I've been able to actually like talk about streaming movies for once. So yeah, I'd check out Rebel Ridge if you haven't yet.
Nice. So yeah, I check it out. I've been wanting to. Let's all right, moving on, I guess. We'll talk about what else was on the list. Oh, they've got a Spider-Man 4 director. It's going to be Destin Creighton, who was supposed to be doing Creighton, whatever you want to say it, who did Shang-Chi 1, is going to be doing Shang-Chi 2, but was also supposed to do the next Avengers movie before he moved off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds under the table that the only reason he really went off of it is because when they pivoted to what they want to do, they decided to bring RDJ back, and RDJ said, I will come back if it's the Russos. So they convinced the Russos to come back. And it sounds like
Right.
it was more of like, hey, we really want to move in this direction. It's nothing against you. And he was like, all right, well, give me something else. And they were like, all right, you're Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I
this
know
guy.
there's, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna add on that I echo those sentiments. It seemed like it wasn't. Um, it did just seem like it was more of like, sorry that we're going a different direction, but we still like having you around. We think that you're great, so how about we give you this instead? So I think you're right. It's just a reshuffling of what they're doing, like throwing out the Kane storyline stuff and throwing in the Doctor Doom stuff, bringing the Russos back. That I think it was just like a side pivot sort of thing. I don't think it was much else of any other reason.
Yeah, I really don't either. I think, and to be honest, I'm gonna be honest completely here. I hope that Shang-Chi 2 is first before Spider-Man 4. I want to see that
Yeah.
come out. It probably won't be. I know there's been a lot of debate of what Spider-Man 2 is going to be. I know the rumors were he's supposed to team up with Daredevil and they're supposed to go after Kingpin. It's supposed to be grounded. And it's like, I'm going to tell you right now, I would love a grounded Spider-Man story. Well, and when we say grounded, we're just saying none of the multiverse stuff, none of this or that. I mean, you say what you want about No Way Home. It has some seriously strong, powerful, intense beats. I mean, all the stuff with Aunt May is
Character
fantastic
stuff.
in that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
would it be cool to see him kind of team up and do some other stuff? I think it would. But I'm also okay if they go big time with it. And if they want to, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
about multiverse, just kind of depends. You can go big time without it being multiverse. So, but a more grounded
Yeah.
story might be really good. I think it's time to introduce more of the Spider-Man character, some other characters. I'd love to get Goblin and everything like that. It sounds like there's
Mm-hmm.
rumors going around that Tom has like redone a deal or something too to be doing Spidey even longer, and that they're kind of gearing up to maybe shoot.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah. He
sounds
and
like
Zendaya.
Zendaya. Is that official? That they? I mean, Tom already had been signed on to a fourth movie. I don't know why that's not remembered. It was a big talking point like a year and a half ago.
Unless if they're asking for more money, I mean, they.
Or maybe they're just renegotiating the
Yeah.
deal he has because
Yeah.
maybe they want him more front and center in Avengers movies.
I could
But
see
the
that too.
Zendaya stuff is definitely more interesting. The fact that they looked at Dune and they're like and Challengers and they're like, she
Mm-hmm.
really is that
It.
good, and
Yeah.
we can't lose her. We can't afford. We're not going to let's not bring in no love triangle. Let's just get back to Mary Jane here. And I think that's smart. It's smart. It's smart moves.
It's smart from a business perspective. I mean, if you have like, especially in today's, Hollywood, that if you have a young actor who's actually like borderline movie star type of potential like Zendaya is or is becoming, then you do probably have to make that work to bring her back in and make her be a part of this story. So that way, on the business side of things, you have more people coming to your movie. I know that's silly to say because it's a Spider-Man movie, but that is still the reality of the business. Like, if you can be able to make more money somehow, then that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
I would be okay with her not being like a focus of the story, maybe him still seeing her from a distance, or maybe somehow he
She doesn't know
slowly.
who he is.
Yeah, exactly, due to what happened in No Way Home, like she doesn't know who he is anymore,
Although
so maybe somehow like we just see him like creeping. No, I'm
I
just kidding, not
actually
like
did
that,
hear,
but
I heard something though after all this news broke that there are talks that they are going to undo that they're going to undo the spell and change it where people do remember who he is. And maybe they'll just undo it for her, and maybe that's their get around. It's like, we really do want them to be in these movies together, and by doing this we've kind
yeah.
of put ourselves in a hole where we can't. And it's like, let's
They
maybe
really
like redo it,
they
fix it.
really wrote themselves into a corner. Like, I don't mind that they ended it in such a way to where it's a Spider-Man that truly feels like he's on his own, but at the same time, it also has its consequences, right? Well, you have this great relationship between Tom Holland and Zendaya that you want to utilize. You still want him to be incorporated in all these other Avengers movies or in other side projects somehow. Well, how do you do that and like, be reintroducing Spider-Man at the same time? So while it was like a big whoa moment in like the grand scheme of things, it may not have been the right way to do it either. So
Sure.
I guess with like bringing everyone's memory back of who he is, or whether it's like in particular MJ's character, I don't have really much to add on to that other than I hope they do it well. If they kind of write it off and say forget about it, don't worry about it, that would be very unfortunate.
I
don't
don't
think that's
think
what
they will.
I don't
They
think
don't
they
do that
will.
stuff.
No, but again, it just has to feel earned or has to feel decent enough for it to make sense.
Yeah.
But it'll be tough. I don't know. That's a very interesting rumor.
It's also very clear that they're really regrouping on everything they want to do moving forward. They are only doing the one movie this year. Already came out with Deadpool Wolverine, made a ton of money. They're like, all right, let's regroup, redo these
Mhm.
phases, figure some stuff out, get some solid scripts down. Let's not do it
Mhm.
on TV. We all know, however, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or the Falcon Captain America movie turns out or not. I know they got a lot riding on it. It's coming out at a bad time of the year, which is not very great. But
Yeah,
there's
like
been so
February,
much
right?
drama around that. Yeah, and February can be good. It just depends. But
If the movie
um,
hits, that's just what it
honestly,
is.
I don't want Spider-Man and Daredevil. I want Shang-Chi and Daredevil. I want like a training 20-minute of them just straight martial arts. Gosh, that'd be awesome. Now that's
Honestly, if
grounded.
they did
That'd be
want
sick.
Shang-Chi to like be involved in like a heist of some kind, like at nighttime, and like he and Spider-Man just meet randomly in New York, even though I think that character's in like California or something. But I don't know. If they want to do that, I wouldn't be against it. Why not?
Man, it would be. It's yeah, he's in San Francisco, but
Right.
imagine in the Avengers, man, they just do. Give me 15 minutes, just straight martial arts, just a little sidebar, just
Well,
watching them
that's why I'm excited
train.
for Keenan coming in, or Keenan coming in to direct this, because I think at the very least, while Spider-Man's action wasn't bad by any means, I do think Shang-Chi's is like having some more memorable stuff, I would say, like fight
Talk about
choreography
grounded, yeah.
wise. So I think like it could be a good match, at least from the action side of things for sure. Um, but it does make me wonder even more so about what's going on with Shang-Chi too. Like, I thought that movie was relatively successful. Seemed like people liked it, relatively well compared to most of what we
Yeah,
had for the last few movies. So I just don't know what the holdup would be, outside of, the director being busy, because I think he was directing the Wonder Man show, which that's a very odd pairing to me. Like, I don't get why I have a Wonder Man show to begin with, honestly. But I don't know. Shang-Chi, I just don't know what's going on with that character, or like why we haven't even heard of anything being greenlit of a Shang-Chi 2. It just feels like
I
it's,
think it
oh,
is greenlit,
it's,
isn't it?
I just never got that vibe that it was, unless if I'm like misremembering something. But it
Pretty
always
sure
felt
it
like one
is.
of those things where, Feige would just go, oh, it'll happen. But nothing really gets confirmed about it.
Yeah, it looks like everything has nothing super confirmed, but just rumors.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, it's just the change at Disney's heads, bringing Bob Iger back, the change to do that, and then some of the movies and shows really struggling. They just said we gotta pull it all back. I mean, look at Blade. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
like there are rumors now that Blade's being completely, totally scrapped, and it's like, how do you mess around? How do you have Mahershala Ali who wants to do it? You bring in all these great people, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't get it right. It's Mahershala Ali fighting vampires. It's not
Yeah.
hard to do this. It's really
Yeah.
not.
Speaking
Um,
of speaking of Blade, I wanted to add on to that, because I've also been hearing rumors now that not only are they thinking of like having Blade involve Wesley Snipes again somehow, but they also want like the next X-Men movie to have Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. And that just makes me roll my eyes. Like, guys, I get it. The money is good because the nostalgia fuels people, but we gotta stop doing this. We gotta move forward. Like, in the grand scheme of like, watching these movies down the road, I don't want us to keep coming back to like, the older times. Like, I want us to be able to like be excited for something new, something different, someone else to take it on, even if it's not going to feel the same as what it once had. Like,
well,
I just, it's just so frustrating to me as like someone who is excited for like, sure, franchises, familiar franchises to come back, but at least do something different, put a twist on
I
things.
I agree with you to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
We knew. I mean, there have been rumors since before Wolverine and Deadpool came out that that Marvel wants him to continue doing Wolverine, and he said, "I'm interested in it if you bring Toby back, if you bring RDJ back," is what they've talked about. There were rumors about that. I The Wesley Snipes thing makes zero sense. There's no real nostalgia other than the few people that got a kick out of it in Deadpool and Wolverine. There's truly
Yeah.
no real need for him to take back the Blade mantle. The first
I don't
Blade
know,
is
man.
fun, but
Nostalgia is
it
a
is
hell of a drug.
what nostalgia. I mean,
Hey,
my
I said that
dad
about
went to all those
Elektra.
movies too.
I
Yeah,
said that about the
but
Electro cameo, and I feel
that's
like I'm
my
in the
point.
minority.
You're making my point that the nostalgia does not go past that. No
Yeah,
one is hyping up to get
right.
Wesley Snipes back as Blade other than Wesley Snipes. He's the only
Hmm.
one. There's nobody. No one's
Mhm.
clamoring for it. Those rumors got to be coming from the middle of nowhere because they
they probably are. I don't know.
Wolverine makes sense. Blade makes zero sense. I mean, it makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes has always been a solid actor, but it's like you're talking about Herschel Ali is sitting there signed on, and you're going to not have him as Blade every and every opportunity you get.
Two-time Academy Award winner.
Yeah. Look, if they're going to keep bringing people back, I mean, the comic line that they're rumored to be doing makes sense. It's supposed to be a giant battle royale of people from all over. I mean, I get it. You're trying to pull up some old vets and get them back in. Sure, but don't be like, we're going to do a Blade trilogy now again, and we're going to do more Blade movies with just what. No. You get Mahershala Ali. There's zero need for that. Honestly, it would be cool. The entire Avengers 1 is just Spider-Man and like the Falcon going and recruiting all these new people. The whole movie. Just don't even have a villain. And every single one of the new people's like, I'll only join if you beat me in a fight. And it's just little fights throughout the whole movie. I'd be so down. I'd be so down. That'd be awesome. Like Daredevil, like you go to Daredevil and Spidey's like, hey, we teamed up that other day. You want to do that? And he's like, heck no. You can beat me in a fight. I'll join you. And then they duke it out. Like that'd be sick. Like that's what I want. Talk about grounded. Are you kidding me? That'd be so cool.
Not and then, quite the battle world we were thinking of, but I guess that will work.
No. That's just for the first movie. And then it'll end, and it'll be like, oh, we got to fight all these variants. And then it's like all the young new people just beating the crap out of all the old people. But I think it is pretty clear that Marvel knows that they need to do some changes with what they're doing because people are receiving some things very well and people are receiving some things very not well. So
sure.
We'll just have to see. But anyway, let's move on here to DC. It's on the list. We'll briefly touch on it. I really don't have much, but Josh Brolin apparently was supposed to be Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern show. Then he was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I don't care about this show. If it comes out and I hear good things, I might check it out. I didn't care about the Penguin show, and now I'm hearing the Penguin show is fantastic. And now I'm interested because I'm hearing all these great things. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'll check out an ep or two. But as of right now, I don't care at all. I also think DC should not be getting 50-something-year-old Josh Brolin to be playing Green Lantern. I think you need to get young, newer people for every one of these characters. Well, I just think you have to.
Right. Based on the sounds of this story, it seems like it's doing the thing when it comes to like crime movies of like, hey, we have the old veteran with like the new guard sidekick coming in, the new young Lantern being Jon Stewart, and the old
Jon Stewart better
guy.
than Hal Jordan all day.
Well, I mean, facts, but
Jon Stewart, stand over here.
And then Hal Jordan would be like the older vet, but at least from, I wouldn't say that I read a whole lot of Green Lantern stuff. I'm trying to lately as I get back into comics, but for me, when it comes to reading Hal Jordan and how he reads off the page, in my opinion, Josh Brolin's a great actor. I don't think he's quite right for the role, but if he did end up signing with it, fine. I'm willing to give it a chance. Like, what more can I do? It's better than complaining, in my opinion. I'm just more, I am a little more curious about who like would play Jon Stewart. Like, I wonder if it's like an actor we've seen recently or like a very newcomer.
Michael B would be great. Lakeith Stanfield would be a great Jon Stewart.
He would be an interesting. He'd be an interesting choice.
Who's the Marvel character he wanted really bad that didn't get? Was it Doom? Was it Doom that had those reports? Who was there? He was somebody.
It sounded like he almost played Silver Surfer at one point.
Oh, that's what it was. It was Silver Surfer.
Which honestly, that's a vibe. Like
You got to get Lakeith Stanfield in anything. He's so talented.
Oh yeah, dude. No kidding. Like,
man, he's great.
Let's bring him back. So anyway, yeah. That's just my thoughts on like his casting in general. I've also heard rumors like Chris Pine and Matthew McConaughey might be in the running for the role, and all those actors are about the same to me.
Like, all right, John, we're out here.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's about the same to me as Brolin. Like, I don't really vibe with it, but if it happens, it happens. But
I mean, I guess if you want an older Hal,
concrete.
I mean, how they're not salivating at the mouth to just make Glenn Powell Hal Jordan makes no sense to me. How are you not trying to get him to be your Green Lantern. He's so hot right now. Everybody wants him. Like, how do you not? Also, where's Twisters 3, Return of the Tornado? That's what I really want. Come on.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, I don't have much thoughts outside of that, but it was just a talking point on the internet, so figured we'd mention it. Hopefully that show's good.
Yeah, speaking of DC, Batman, it was confirmed again that Matt Reeves will be doing a trilogy with Robert Pattinson. He is going to get to make his movies. There are rumors that it's going to take place in winter and that it'll be blue. And I saw, and like all the logos were blue and stuff. It's just what fans were putting out. And I was looking at that going, Matt Reeves has such a cool way to do like a 3 colors trilogy moment here. Red, blue, and like, white or green or something, and really kind of have it go. And you can bring in
the Joker.
Yeah, and do blue for Mr. Freeze or the Penguin again or something like that, especially if this Penguin show is really, really good.
Yeah, for sure.
That could really, really work. So I'm here for it. I think they should take forever to put Batman in anything in DC. Let Matt Reeves do his trilogy. Once the trilogy ends, get your new Batman. Bring Batman back. His trilogy is so phenomenal. Just let him make a Nolan style. Let him do his thing. The first one is so freaking good. Get these serious detective stories, and then you can add Batman in later to this new DCU so much later. Get an unknown. Take your time finding the right guy. Josh Brolin would be great. But
in anything,
other than I love the idea of changing up the color scheme, keeping it darkly lit inside the movie, but having instead in the first movie some strong reds and yellows to some strong blues and things like that would be really, really sick. And it'd be cool to see Matt Reeves make a Mr. Freeze or someone like that. I do want him to have some connectivity. I want it to be about what Nolan can do. They tease Joker in the first one. If Joker's not a big player in this one and he's going to be for the last one, that's fine. But definitely like kind of do what they did with Scarecrow, more than just a little cameo, that is Riddler completely done? Are they going to build up to a bunch of them fighting Batman? I don't know, but I love what they do. They've got such a great, Robert Pattinson's a great Batman. So thoughts?
Yeah. The one other nugget that I saw in the story was that Reeves was kind of confirming that he's not really thinking about going supernatural or fantastical in terms of like the villains that he's incorporating the story.
I love it.
Seems like he's still doing.
I love it.
I am too, but it caused such a fuss over like comic book fans online where they're like, why are we not going supernatural? I don't know. Like, I guess they had it in their heads that somehow he would go in that direction, but I'm fine with it personally because I feel like we're gonna go wacky with like the upcoming James Gunn stuff in terms of Batman and his characters. So why not?
Why would they think anything different? He made it very clear before he made the first Batman that that this was going to be a grounded detective story, that he wanted to get into the side of Batman no one's gotten into. And let's also not remember the Nolan trilogy dips its toe into the supernatural a little bit with everything they do with Ra's al Ghul in the first one. I mean, he watches Liam Neeson blow up, and then he's like, "No, I didn't." And it's like, okay. You are dipping your toe into it. You are. Yeah. They dip their toe into it. I think not going to the supernatural.
Yeah.
I think not doing supernatural is awesome. I think that's awesome.
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Make it grounded and gritty and realistic and keep the detective stories. Bring in another serial killer. If all 3 movies is just someone going on a crime spree, that would be great. That would be great. And you can get to the point where the Joker, if you wait to really do him the 3rd movie, him watching all these people mess up. Imagine the 3rd movie opens up with the Joker killing all of these different characters we've met in the 1st and 2nd. Like he kills the Riddler and murders like villains because he's like, they can't do it as well as I can. And I'm going to show him. Like, imagine he does something like that. Although he's already met the Joker is the idea that he has already battled the Joker, put him in prison. I also think if you are going to introduce all these villains, he might be gearing up for an Arkham Asylum style story in the 3rd movie and make it where Batman is escaping prison against all these guys he's put in the first 2 movies.
You might not be far off. I know like they were kind of developing an Arkham Asylum show for a while, but I think that got canceled. So maybe he's going to try to put that into his next movie somehow. Put some
Yeah,
of those
whether it's the
ideas.
next one or the third one, we know he's doing 3, and he developed the Penguin show, correct? Didn't he write it and direct a couple episodes?
I don't think he directed the episodes, but I think he was a part of like the creation of the show.
Yeah, no, he definitely was. I think he did write it, but I think it's time for him to completely focus on Batman. Completely. And let's
Oh,
just get
I
these 2 movies out of the way here and let's really focus on him.
yeah, for
Because
sure.
he's incredible. He's incredible, but
Yeah, honestly, like, yeah, just rewatching the Batman a few months ago now, it just hits so good. Like, just Reeves' style of direction, he just knows how to make an environment make it feel like the tone that's supposed to be. Like, it just feels like it's authentic and on its own. I love the detective angle of the
yeah.
first movie. I don't mind that it's not going to be supernatural. It depends on like what supernatural means, I guess. But in terms of like the very fantastical side with like superpowers and stuff like that, I'm okay. I know that I feel like with James Gunn, based on like what we're hearing out of like the Superman movie, he's going to find a way to have like the next writer director of Batman incorporate some more fantastical stuff. So it's going to
Just
be a long
imagine
wait.
though,
I understand, but
if Mr.
yeah.
Freeze is the main villain of the next one, imagine how cool it would be if it's another serial killer and he's freezing the bodies. Like you're finding frozen body parts throughout Gotham and Batman's like, what the heck is going on? And he's got to talk more to Joker and Riddler and get in this, like we go full Mindhunter and Fincher on this. Oh man, that sounds awesome. That sounds
honestly
awesome.
Yeah, like use Mr. Freeze, but instead of like an ice gun, he just murders guys and then he sticks them in freezers or something.
Or or he like comes up with like a way to get their body to freeze that's like chemical and not like this giant ray gun that's like freezing them.
Yeah.
I don't want that stuff. I really don't. I love that Batman it can be darker and grittier. And we've seen Ben Affleck be supernatural a ton. And granted, he is the only real decent parts of those bad movies, but
yeah, true. One other nugget is that I don't think it was necessarily confirmed, but based on what Reeves was describing in terms of him wanting to explore like Gotham in terms of like the threats that are very ominous in terms of like the whole city of Gotham, makes it seem like that people are thinking that his next villains are going to be the Court of Owls, which is a great arc that happened like 10 years ago. It's basically like the Illuminati of Gotham. It's kind of like that.
Sounds
like the
fantastic.
elites are in control. Exactly. Yeah. It's a really good arc. One of like the better modern Batman storylines, in my opinion.
Tell me though,
gets me a little excited.
Doesn't it sound better if he does that, save that for the third movie, and we find out that at the beginning of the third movie that this Court of Owls has been like controlling and like manipulating these people that, you know, the Riddler and whoever we get in the second movie and like King and Penguin and all these guys, and he's been the one kind of controlling behind the shadows, and we like that's the final reveal teaser at the end.
Sure.
That would be
whether
sick.
It like end of the second movie for sure. I mean,
yeah,
the first movie is hinting at like there's more than meets the eye in terms of like who runs Gotham exactly. A lot of push and pull between like, you know, how things are going on like, you know, the side of the law, on the side of the government, like who's a snake and who isn't. And, you know, there's a lot of ways to tie it back to Court of Owls, I would think. So,
and man, you bring back Zoe. You bring back Catwoman.
I think
she's fantastic. You've got to bring her back. She is such a great foil.
God, I'm so excited for this movie, man.
It's going to be so good. It makes me want to rewatch the Batman.
Do it. It doesn't disappoint.
I know the last 2 notes we have on here. I think there were only 2 more.
Hey, if you got something else.
Yeah, no. Just me talking about my AFI list. I've only been able to watch 2 movies since we've last talked, 2 or 3. So give me another week. I'll give an update next week. Give me another week to watch a couple more. I've seen a few. Haven't been to the theater in a while. Going to try our best to kind of get out to Beetlejuice because I've heard it's pretty fun. I love the first one. And I want to see the Transformers movie. I hear the Transformers movie is awesome. So I do want to see it, but we really haven't been lately. So let's just talk about a few more movies. I know Kyle was like, let's get a top 10, top 5. Al did no research. You know, I bet you I'm going to name movies that Kyle's like, oh, you didn't hear that got pushed? because I got a handful of some 2024 movies that I know premiere at some festivals that I've had on my watch list for a while, and there's a couple I
Yeah.
know big ones that are coming out. And let's just, we don't need to go in any order. Let's make it casual, but let's start with kind of the bigger movies we know are coming out. And I pulled up kind of the big, like the list of kind of the big movies, the big blockbusters, I think, blockbuster-esque that are coming out. And I'll rattle through them, and you just tell me which ones you would have on your list or you did. Okay. And I'll start here with this next week, like the Wild Robot we have coming out. There's Joker. Then we're going to have the Saturday night movie that I'm interested in. We've got Smile 2 is going to be another big one. Venom. Let's see. We've got, there they are that I'm looking for. Wicked versus Gladiator 2, which is going to be wild. And then we've got a couple more. Kraven the Hunter, Sonic, Mufasa, Nosferatu, things that I think that are really well known. And then there's supposed to be, doesn't Moana 2 also come out around like Thanksgiving or something?
Yeah, I believe so.
I didn't see it on this list, but like there's a couple of the big ones. Which one of those? I already know one of them is sticking out for you, but what sticks out to you?
Yeah, the three that I would say that I'm most gearing up for is Saturday Night, Nosferatu, and Gladiator 2.
Yeah, same.
Saturday Night, I wouldn't say like I'm a diehard Saturday Night Live fan. I'm not like I like comedy, but I don't like follow comedians super closely, or there's no like Mount Rushmore that I have of like comedians in terms of Saturday Night. But I just think that the tone of the movie seems really good. It seems like a comedy, but it feels like really realistic for its time period. I think that it's really nailing down like what we think of in terms of like the stories of like the first few years of Saturday Night Live and how things went in terms of behind the scenes. Plus, there's a whole bunch of actors in this movie, like obviously some big ones like J.K. Simmons and Willem Dafoe, that it's going to be exciting to see them in the movie. But I think like there's some up and coming character actors that are really going to pop off in this, like Rachel Sennott, Gabriel LaBelle, Cooper Hoffman. Those are actors I really want to keep my eye on, see how they do in this movie, because I just think I don't think like they're necessarily like going to be movie star level actors, but I think they're going to have very interesting careers in terms of like a character actor path. So yeah.
I'm excited for it too.
You go.
Hang on. Yeah, I heard some mixed things when it performed at what was the last festival? TIFF, or was it Venice? I can't remember.
TIFF.
When at TIFF, I heard some mixed things, and that made me think that this movie is going to be really good, because I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is too much," and some people are like, "This is exactly how I heard it went down," and like, "This is exactly how these comedians and actors," makes me think that it's going to be really good. So I'm really excited for that, and I agree with you on all those points. I think all three of those movies are going to be great here. I think Nosferatu is going to be awesome. It's going to be so weird. I can't wait.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, the original Nosferatu is already weird to watch. Good, but like, weird because it's just so
it's old.
Yeah, it's old, but it's just of its own.
Yeah,
gothic and like how it felt back then in terms of like how people saw it. But this is definitely Eggers like wanting to go full gothic in terms of his version of Nosferatu. And plus it's also coming out in the winter. Like, that's perfect. Out of the cold into a movie theater, it's all dark, and then you're already going into like a very scary, creepy gothic horror movie in terms of this. So Nosferatu I'm very geared up for.
Gladiator 2 also looks freaking fantastic, and I know everybody's sitting here. Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, please lay it on them.
Look, I don't disagree that sometimes you toss some rapper hip-hop in trailers or in movies that maybe are period pieces, doesn't always work, but I'm telling you right now, when you put in No Church in the Wild on those trailers, you're insane. It hits
Denzel,
so
like monologuing.
hard. With Denzel smiling and looking at the camera, and then you've got Pedro, you've got everybody in there, they're freaking out, and man,
Paul Mescal's rippling muscles.
And then you get the craziness that is what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Who plays Eddie Munson in
Stranger Things
Place?
Guy.
Yeah. Who's going to be our Johnny Storm?
Joseph something.
Yeah, Joseph Quinn. Oh,
Thank you.
Man, even he looks freaking fantastic. This movie looks
Yeah.
like it is going to win over everyone. And man, when that song comes on, and you're just sitting there and you're like,
Yeah.
yes. I don't know
Why
how you're
are-
not buying 5 tickets right there.
Yeah, why are people not being fun about this stuff anymore? I don't get that. Like,
Yeah,
why?
do you remember any 2000s trailer? They all have these songs.
Yeah, I mean, granted, not everything of the 2000s we need to bring back, but you know, like, come on, that goes hard. It's fun. It's a trailer. It doesn't matter. Just
and
enjoy
this movie looks
yourself.
awesome. And
Yeah,
I've been watching
cool.
some big epic movies of late, like Lawrence of Arabia. I watched Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
You know, movies like that, and it's like, man, I kind of miss that big epic. We don't have big, not these old Hollywood epics that they used to have, because a lot of them tend to be very religious. In terms of the old Hollywood epics, you think of 10 Commandments, Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia, movies like that. And speaking of Roland Emmerich, you don't need to touch Lawrence of Arabia and make it a TV series. We don't need it.
Good God. Imagine taking the biggest, wettest dump. It's him touching Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
Like,
hey,
don't do this.
I love Roland Emmerich. I want you to go make the things that I love you for. Go make me some bad disaster flicks.
Make Moonfall 2. I'll go see Moonfall 2. Come on. I will not be watching Lawrence of Arabia remake.
I'll add another movie of those. I am very curious with Wicked. I think Wicked will be a hit. I'm very curious to see if I like it. I think his movies, I tend to go kind of back and forth. They sometimes are great. Sometimes they're just really not. They don't really tend to fall in the middle for me as much. But Moana 2, I think, will be great too. But obviously, I'm excited as all heck for Sonic 3. I don't get why everybody's complaining about Shadow's voice. Keanu's great addition. It's fun.
Oh, really? They complained about it? I thought everyone, I don't know. I got the sense that people
idiot Gen Zers. No, kids who are ridiculous. No, it looks great. I will say there's been a lot of talk about Jim Carrey, and because he's back, and you know his press for Sonic 2, he said, "I'm retired. I'm done." And I think people are very confused about how Hollywood worked. They didn't go to Jim Carrey and say, "Please come out of retirement for this movie." When Jim Carrey signed on to Sonic, he signed a 3-picture deal. They were hoping to make a trilogy. He signed on to make 3 of the movies. He's retiring when his contracts are up. His contract's not up. When it is now that his movie's done, he might have something else somewhere here and there, but his contract's up. And if for some reason I'm crazy wrong, which I've looked into it and I have yet to find anything that says he came out of retirement for it, is that he came back, made Sonic 3, now he's kind of done. Great. He's such a great version of Robotnik. He does a fantastic job. He probably enjoys doing these kids' movies kind of towards the end of his career and getting to really be in something that is positive towards kids, and he gets to be goofy and funny and himself one more time. It makes sense. But anyway.
Totally.
All right, Kyle, give me one of these. We all know you got a list of about 500 of them. Give me a list of one of these underground movies, kind of these Oscar bait movies you got left. Let's see if it's on my watch list. If it's not, I'll have to add it, that you're excited for. You give me one, I'll give you one, and we'll just do this a couple times before we call it a day.
All right. Well, I think one that I think is going to be on your watch list for sure is Sing Sing.
Oh, Sing Sing came out a while ago. I missed it when it was here. I was so bummed I didn't see it. I've been wanting to see it so bad.
It didn't come to my neck of the woods, so I'm waiting to see if maybe it comes to our more localish theater, or maybe it'll be on streaming eventually. So that one I still want to keep an eye on, because I think that movie just looks powerful and emotional as all heck, and
I agree.
I want to see about this Coleman Domingo hype. Yeah.
Oh, Coleman Domingo's incredible.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
You should check him out in Rustin on Netflix. He's really, really good in that. Movie's okay, but he's
I saw that one. Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, Sing Sing. Oh man, I can't wait for that. Yeah, that is on my watch list. A couple of these movies on my 2024 watch list. Well, this says Sing Sing was supposed to come out last year, according to Letterboxd, but
I think it premiered at last year's film festivals.
Yeah, that makes sense. And some of these movies may or may not come out. One of the movies I'm really excited for is A Real Pain. I've been really excited for Jesse Eisenberg and our Culkin boy. Why can't I think
I got
of his
a feeling
first name?
Culkin.
Kieran.
Yeah,
I think this movie's going to be sneaky. Yeah, at Oscars.
Yeah, in terms of Culkin for supporting actor, I got a feeling about that one.
You never know. I've heard good things about the movie. I've heard it's looking really, really good. That makes me really excited. Yeah. What's another one you got on your little radar here?
I want to check out Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh and We Live in Time. I think
Yep.
that movie looks really sweet. Story about like falling in love, but also through that love having to deal with unfortunate circumstances of life, such as combating cancer. And Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh, both of them are great actors in terms of wearing their emotions on their sleeves, I think. And I just feel like they have such powerful ways, whether it's like through their face or whether it's just in subdued expression of their voice and their words. So they just are so good at conveying emotion that it seems like this pairing and this type of story is just such a perfect match that I really am curious about how this movie turns out. I really want to see it.
I could not agree with you more. I think it's going to end up being really, really good.
Yeah.
Um, Another movie that I am really excited for is The Brutalist that I heard so many good
Yes.
things about
Yeah.
from different festivals. I'm really, really hyped for that. A lot of people are saying it was like the movie of the festival scene with Adrian Brody, Guy Pearce. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, sometimes when it comes to these film festivals, I always roll my eyes at times in terms of like the word of mouth, and it just feels like so positive about a certain project that it turns out like it was overhyped or it's too good to be true. But for some reason, with The Brutalist, I feel like there might be a little bit of overhypeness attached to it, maybe, but I just feel like there is something true to just how good this movie may wind up being. So I really hope I do get to see this maybe before the year ends, just so that way I could potentially have it on my top 10 because I love it when it just works out that way for my own selfish needs. But no, The Brutalist and what people are saying out of this movie, maybe they're right when it comes to like the hype of it. So I'm very curious about that too.
Yeah. What else you got? What's your next one?
I got Sean Baker's next movie, Anora. Sean
Yep.
Baker is becoming
Yep.
a
Yep.
director that is like high on my list of favorites currently. I just recently watched Red Rocket, which was a movie a few years ago that I missed of his, and it's just awesome. It rules. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. And Anora, I'm hoping this finally gives Sean Baker the praise that I think he kind of deserves. It feels like he gets overshadowed whenever he has like Red Rocket or Florida Project. Excuse me, almost stumbled over my
Tangerine.
words. Tangerine is another great example.
All shot on an
Um,
iPhone, baby.
yeah, it's just crazy stuff that this guy is doing, and it's interesting. Like his aesthetic is like bright and at times almost feels hopeful, but at the same time he is shooting at like very realistic settings, very like below middle class types of settings that are correlating to like the stories that he's trying to say. And I just think he has a powerful way with the camera in terms of like telling those types of stories. And Anora kind of feels like that, but it feels like a mixture of a romance and like a mafia movie. So I just want to see this one so bad. I think he might have another banger.
Yeah, Honora was what I was going to say next. So since you took it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with a movie that I added very late that I heard some mixed things about, but I'm very curious about, and that's Friendship by Andrew DeYoung
Ooh.
with Tim Robbins and Paul Rudd. I've heard it's very funny. Some people were
Oh,
saying
okay.
they didn't love it as much, but some of those critics tend to be a little too snooty. And God
Okay.
forbid there's one thing they don't like. So I'm really curious about that one. I think it could be a little sneaker, maybe late dramedy
I
that
didn't know about
could
this one.
really,
Thanks.
really, really hit. Oh, you
Yeah.
haven't heard about it?
No, no. A little under the radar
Oh,
movie you gave
oh,
me.
look at you, Kyle. You never know nothing. I always have known more than you when it comes to the circuits.
Always do. That's the one thing I
What
know about
else?
you.
You got another one?
Yeah, I got another one. A new historical drama called Blitz is coming from Steve McQueen and
Blitz
starring
is also
Saoirse
on my
Ronan.
list. Yep.
Yeah. I
Hype.
just am excited for Steve McQueen. It feels like since Widows, I haven't heard much of him lately. So I hope to check out his movie if it comes out here in the next few months. And Widows
Yeah,
is underrated. Go, people
it is
should check out that
underrated.
movie. Yeah, that's
Blitz,
a good
yeah,
one.
Blitz is on my list. I'm very excited for that too.
Hmm.
I've got that between a couple movies here. A movie from 1949 on my watch list, and then another movie that came out earlier this year called Kill that I still want to see. But um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take one we didn't talk about in kind of the major ones because I do know it'll be an Oscar pick, but I am very excited for the Bob Dylan biopic with Timothy Chalamet.
Mm.
What's it called again? Like
A
like
complete unknown.
a complete unknown. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And mainly because it's by the guy that made Ford v Ferrari, which is such a freaking good movie. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why his name is escaping me. Help me out here, pal.
James Mangold.
Yeah. Oh man, James Mangold knows what he's doing. I'm really excited for that. I think it might be a movie that ends up sweeping the Oscars. It's gonna make all the
Oh.
studios jump back into biopics
Oh,
about singers
terrific.
again. It's gonna make them all jump right back to
Did
it
they
after we
leave?
just died. Yeah, they've all been
Oh.
bad. Nobody knows
Oh.
any of them.
Yeah. Well, that's true at least.
I think this movie's going to be really, really good. And I'm excited to see Edward Norton pop in something else again because he is so underrated.
Oh.
He's very talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm ready for Timothy to be like, all right, here we go. Here you go. Here's my Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, I wish it could be for like Dune, but it probably will be for like the, biopic.
I mean, yeah.
It's probably gonna happen.
I would love for it to be Dune, but I also think, maybe he'll get a double nom. I don't know how good he's
Maybe.
going to end up being as Bob Dylan, but if he's as good as we think, I mean, his voice sounds great. But all right, you got one more. Kind of we'll end it here. One more.
Yeah, there's a movie coming out called Nickel Boys. Supposed to be
Nickel
about two
Boys.
young African American men dealing with the trials of a reform school in Florida. And I saw the trailer. I think it came out a few days ago, if I remember right. It was already getting some good buzz from festivals to begin with, but something about the trailer, it kind of felt like it was being shot from like a first-person perspective, and it felt very vulnerable, very intimate, just in a way that I haven't like seen being filmed in some time. I think just because of that first-person angle, that first-person view of it, kind of was part of the reason, but. I don't know. There's something about that movie that really has me wondering about it, like of how good people are saying about it. It makes me really want to check it out.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, so I'm glad you mentioned it. I added it to my watch list. I have not heard of it. That
Awesome.
sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the last one I'll bring up, is another big one I kind of missed. But I'm really excited for Megalopolis. I don't know what to expect.
Oh, I forgot about that. Dang it.
People are saying it's so badly weird, and some people are saying it's so incredibly weird, and I have a feeling it's going to be like a 20% Rotten Tomato. Critics can't stand it, but man, it's a good time. Like, I don't know what to expect. I'm really excited. I mean, they're using AI. They're getting in trouble for their trailers, and this movie just has drama after drama after drama, so I'm so curious about it. I'm really excited to see what Francis does, and maybe it'll be so terrible, and maybe it'll be the best thing since The Godfather. Who knows? But I'm very excited. It's made it very curious. Sometimes a lot of negativity around a movie can make you want to see it more. So I'm very excited about it.
I really hope I get to see this movie this weekend because I have a feeling that it's not going to release as wide as I would hope for it to be. And since I live in a state that people tend to forget about, I won't be shocked if it doesn't come here. But I really hope it does because it honestly, tempting. Because I do want to see this movie so badly, just in terms of Coppola's connection to it, but also just in terms of the crazy things that people were describing about the movie. I'm in the mood for something different, man. Just something wild. Even if I don't like it, who cares? Like, I just want to see someone of Coppola's stature go crazy for no reason. But
yeah.
Yeah.
My hope is too that Mickey 17 comes out just barely and qualifies for the Oscars before they give it that January release date. So I hope that would technically count, because if it does, that would be on the top of my list. I'm so excited for that movie.
No, true. That was on my number one, I think, on my anticipated movies of 2024, and boy, did that not age well, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, end of January is prime time for them to just drop it in 5 theaters in the United States at the very end of the year, get it qualified, and then get the buzz going, and then put it out at the end of January before the Oscar season actually happens. Yeah. So that's my hope, because it'll count, because I'm excited for that. But all right, guys, what did you think of everything we talked about today? Comment below, let us know. I'm going to like, subscribe, and share. Help us get get to 2,000, all that good stuff. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.